Have you ever noticed this strange thing? You speak, and people don't really respond. You text, and the replies are short, delayed, or never come. You walk into a room, and somehow you fade into the background. No one insults you. No one openly rejects you. They just ignore you. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of the time, it's not because you're boring, rude, or unimportant. It's because of small subconscious behaviors you don't even realize you're doing. Today, we're breaking down 7 subconscious things you might be doing that make people ignore you, without you ever meaning to. These are backed by psychology, behavioral science, and decades of research from people like Carl Jung, Albert Mehrabian, Irving Goffman, and Paul Ekman. And listen carefully. Number 5 is the most important one. It quietly destroys how people perceive you, even if everything else you do is right. Stay till the end, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Before I continue, please hit that subscribe button, like, and share this video with your loved ones. Thank you. Now let's begin. 1. You signal low urgency with your body without knowing it. Before you say a single word, people already decide how much attention to give you. This is an opinion. This is psychology. Albert Mehrabian, one of the most cited researchers in communication, showed that nonverbal cues dominate first impressions. Not what you say, how you carry yourself. Here's the problem. Many people who feel ignored send low-urgency signals without realizing it. These signals include slouched shoulders, slow, dragging movements, hesitant gestures, weak eye contact, a voice that trails off at the end of sentences. None of these scream, "Ignore me," but together, they quietly tell the brain of the other person. This information is not urgent. The human brain is ruthless about efficiency. If something doesn't feel urgent, confident, or grounded, it gets filtered out. Think about it. When someone speaks clearly, stands upright, and moves with intention, you listen, even if they're saying something ordinary. When someone looks unsure, moves slowly, and sounds uncertain, your brain wanders, even if they're saying something important. This has nothing to do with intelligence or worth. It's signal strength. Psychologist Amy Cuddy's work on power and posture showed that expansive, grounded body language increases perceived authority and attention, even before words are processed. If people often ignore you, ask yourself, do I rush my words or soften them too much? Do I physically shrink when I speak? Do I look like I expect to be interrupted? People don't ignore what feels solid. They ignore what feels optional. 2. You over-explain, which makes people tune out. This one hurts because it comes from good intentions. You explain more because you want to be understood, but the brain interprets it differently. When you over-explain, people subconsciously think, if this were important, it wouldn't need this much justification. This idea comes straight from social perception theory and status signaling in psychology. High-status communicators don't pile on explanations. They state things once, clearly, and stop. Low-status signaling looks like repeating yourself, adding disclaimers, justifying your opinion before anyone challenges it, saying things like, this might be stupid, but the moment you do that, attention drops. Irving Goffman, who studied social interaction like a stage performance, explained that people constantly read confidence cues to decide who to focus on. Over-explaining reads as uncertainty, and uncertainty triggers disengagement. Think about conversations where someone keeps adding details you didn't ask for. Your mind drifts. You stop listening, not because they're wrong, but because your brain has already categorized them as background noise. This doesn't mean speak less. It means speak cleaner. Say the thing. Pause. Let silence work for you. Silence, when used correctly, creates gravity. 3. You ask for permission to exist in conversations. This is subtle and incredibly common. You might do this by constantly saying sorry, waiting too long for the right moment to speak, softening statements into questions, laughing nervously after talking. Psychologically, this signals low conversational entitlement. In simple terms, you're telling others, I don't fully believe I deserve the floor. Carl Jung wrote extensively about how unconscious self-beliefs leak into behavior. If you internally see yourself as a burden, your body and voice will express it, even if you don't realize it. People respond to what you project, not what you intend. When you apologize for speaking, people subconsciously agree with you. They don't think, wow, they're polite. They think, this isn't important. And once your contributions feel unimportant, people stop listening. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People don't ignore confident interruptions. They ignore hesitant ones. This doesn't mean being rude. It means owning your presence. Stop pre-apologizing. Stop shrinking your ideas before anyone reacts. Your words don't need permission to exist. For you mirror disinterest without realizing it. Humans are mirrors. Paul Ekman's research on microexpressions showed that emotions transfer rapidly, often in milliseconds, without conscious awareness. If you look bored, distracted, or emotionally flat, people feel it and mirror it back. Common subconscious habits include nodding mechanically, giving short, neutral responses, avoiding emotional reactions, checking your phone mid-conversation. Even if you care deeply, your body might be saying otherwise. And here's the key point. People don't engage with those who seem disengaged. If your energy is muted, people lower theirs. Then they assume you don't want interaction. So they withdraw. And suddenly, you're being ignored, even though you never asked for it. Attention follows emotional presence. You don't need to be loud or animated. You need to be there. Eye contact, facial reaction, small acknowledgments. Presence is magnetic. Absence repels. 5. You don't take up psychological space. Most important. This is the most important one, and the one almost no one talks about. Psychological space is not physical space. It's the mental weight you occupy in a room. Some people speak once and everyone listens. Others speak 10 times and get ignored. The difference is not volume. It's internal permission. Psychologist William James believed attention follows interest and conviction. If you don't believe your presence matters, the group won't either. Taking up psychological space means speaking without rushing, holding eye contact after finishing a sentence, letting your words land instead of filling silence, not adjusting your opinion to avoid discomfort. People who get ignored often do the opposite. They speak fast. They immediately soften their point. They look away once they finish talking. They retreat if there's no instant reaction. This tells the group, you don't need to remember this. And the brain obeys. The harsh reality is this. People remember those who assume they are worth remembering. This isn't arrogance. It's grounded presence. If you change nothing else after this video, change this. Slow down. Finish your thought. Hold the space. 6. You become too predictable emotionally. Predictability kills attention. The brain is wired to notice contrast, surprise, and variation. If your emotional tone never changes, always agreeable, always calm, always neutral, your presence fades into the background. This doesn't mean being dramatic. It means allowing emotional texture. Laughter when something is funny. Seriousness when it matters. Silence when it hits deep. People ignore what feels flat. Not because it's bad, but because the brain doesn't tag it as meaningful. Attention is selective. And emotional variation creates memory. 7. You don't signal boundaries. This one is uncomfortable. People often ignore those who don't signal limits. If you're always available, always flexible, always accommodating, your presence loses weight. Psychologically, boundaries create value. When someone can be interrupted endlessly, ignored, or postponed without consequence, the brain treats them as optional. This isn't cruelty. It's conditioning. When you don't protect your time, energy, or attention, others learn they don't have to either. Boundaries communicate self-respect, and self-respect commands attention. Before I end, I'll leave you with this. If people ignore you, it doesn't mean you're invisible. It means your signals are quiet. The good news? Signals can be changed. Not by acting, not by pretending, but by aligning your internal beliefs with your external presence. People respond to what you embody, not what you wish they'd see. Remember number 5. Take up psychological space. Because the moment you do, people stop overlooking you. They start listening. And once that shift happens, everything changes.